Good day and welcome to another edition of Outsider Genie, where we will be looking at the race meeting from Scottsville. Today is 7th February. We kick up with the first race, which is a maiden juvenile, which as normal, I don't really give selections, but for those who are interested, I will do the betting. It's a maiden juvenile over 1100 meters. The first race off at 12:45. So here we have number 7, Crescent Eagle, 33 to 10. Good Traveler, 4 to 1, 6 to 1. Catch the Tune. Spina Zonke, 15 to 2. Mr. Baby, 15 to 2. Silvery Blue, 8 to 1. Waterbury Lane, 10 to 1. Annam Land, 10 to 1. Uncomplicated, 18 to 1. 25 to 1. And longer the rest. So while we're here, let's have a look at the race number 2. Here we have race number 2, Sugar and Spice, 16 to 10. I'm Ready, 7 to 2. Drogarati, 7 to 2. Kid Carter, 9 to 1. Alma Mater, 9 to 1. James Dean, 15 to 1. And Trump's Express, 50 to 1. And longer the rest. So let's have a look here at the second race, where my first selection is number 2, Sugar and Spice. This horse has been knocking on the door for a while now. It is drawn well. Well, it doesn't matter. It's down the straight at Scottsville, so it doesn't matter that much. Getting the -1.5. And yeah, this horse has run against some reasonable opposition, as you can see. A few of his races, there were winners from that race. Here we got 4 winners out of 12. And last time out, this horse ran on very well behind Irish Bell on Scottsville with 23.7. Fastest 400 to meet, 400 to finish, and has got the same jockey on board. And I think Sugar and Spice will be hard to beat in this race. My outsider selections in this race is number 5, No Name Brand, the 5-year-old Torador, gelding by Lamy Mere. That brings in speed. This horse is 5-year-old, but only had 4 runs, starting his career in August 20 as a 5-year-old. And it will seem to me that the horse is improving slowly, and definitely a horse that you want to put into your back ends of your quartet and trifectas. He's getting the -4. Yeah, I know this Crusher Run has produced a few. Mike Papas has just has got a band of broodmares which he constantly breed with. And I know he's had 1 or 2 runners that has performed well. And my other outsider selection is number 8, Alma Mater. It's a main am by Fort Wood Mare. Also, this horse has been running a few places. And last time out, second behind Bernie's Dream on the Greyville. Before that, the second, third, two runs in a row. I don't know what went wrong there, but before that was reasonably consistent in terms of finishing. Now you can also see it ran here behind Trip to Africa, which is a reasonably good horse. So number 8 also in with a chance. Then another horse that you can have a look at is number 11, Drogarati, from the Paul Lafferty stable. It's a Wiley Hall by Kaomi. This horse is also improving from race to race, but was behind our first selection in the race behind Irish Bell, but can certainly improve. I think it will be hard for number 11 to turn the tables with Sugar and Spices. On that day, he got -2.5. Today, there's no 2.5. So, but you know, horses, they do improve. But yeah, it's going to be difficult for him to turn the tables with number 2. Then we move on to race number 3, which is another maiden plate over 1,400 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Here your betting is as follows. Number 6, Masengo Machine, 12 to 10. Coromandel, 22 to 10. The Goal, 11 to 1. 14 to 1, twice as gold, 16 to 1. Diamond Master, 16 to 1. Bourbon Beat, and 20 to 1 and better the rest. Now they're betting here on the favorite, but my first selection is number 1, the girl. I've been following the girl for a while. It is trained by Garth Puller as a version Getterich by Tiger It's Me. And this horse runs good races and then run a bad race. Today it's due to run a good race. But last time out over the 1700 meters on the poly, I think it was just too far. The horse has run on Scottsville before one race. But I think that the 1400 meters will be better suited than the 1600 and 1700 meters that it's been running on. So I'm looking for a huge effort from the goal today. And my outsider selection is number 2, Diamond Master. Diamond Master is also a horse that's improving very slowly, but it is improving, and maybe there's a type of horse that you want to include into your quartet and trifecta selections. And my other outsider selection is number 4, Bourbon Beat, Duncan Howes, getting the -2.5. This horse also improved from his first race to his second race behind Bohemian Lad. Ran 5 rings, 5.5. It was okay. It was there and thereabouts, just faded over the last bit. Today a little bit shorter and drawn well. Then other horses that you can look at is unfortunately number 14, Coromandel, coming from Cape Town, where it runs some reasonable races, but draw 14 on Anton Marcus on board. But the horse is bred well. And yeah, one is not sure what to expect from this horse, especially from draw 14. So here's the favorite Mashanga Machine. Also a horse that is improving slowly, going over a longer distance for the first time today, drawn reasonably at 6, and can definitely be involved in the finish if he gets the distance. We move on to race number 4, which is another maiden plate over 1400 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Here we have number 1, Comodusan, 13 to 10, 4 to 1, Watarider, uplifted 7 to 1, Techno Savvy, 15 to 2, 10 to 1, Luna Prospector, Navarino Bay, 10 to 1, 13 to 1, and longer the rest. Scratch number 4, Rather Mess. This scratching must have been regionally, because when I did my selections earlier, it was still a runner. So take note of that. And that will certainly change the whole picture here, because I think number 1 is a very good bet today. It improved very over Scottsville 1500 meters. It was drawn 14 out of 14, and the race before that 13 out of 14. Now today it's drawn 1. Lyle Hewitson for his dad, and I think number 1 hard to beat if you repeat that performance, fastest 400 to finish. Outsider selections that you can have a look at is number 3, Techno Savvy. Techno Savvy is also a horse that's been there and thereabouts, drawn free, and I'm sure he's also improving. So number 3, Techno Savvy, definitely a horse to put into your calculations. And then my other outsider selection is number 8, which is Navarino Bay. Last time out went to the front and was not to the front, but was in the front 3, and just faded a little bit over the 1600 meters, going a little bit shorter today, again getting the services of the apprentice, -2.5. So number 8, Navarino Bay, is definitely a dangerous horse in terms of front running. If he goes to the front, it might be hard to catch. So definitely also include in whatever play you take. So that brings us to the end of my review for race number 4. Let's move on to race number 5, which is a Phyllis Amir's 80 handicap, Class C, average minute rated 76. And here the betting is as follows: 3 to 1 Sylvia Magic, 12 Sea Venture 5-1, Crime 7-1, Polly Goes Shopping 8-1, Miss Ladida 7-1, 11-1, Mrs. Hotline, Silly Vinora 12-1, Connect Me 14-1, 12-1, and longer the rest. Yeah, also one of those open races. Most of the races today at Scottsville, very open. It's hard to find some bankers. And here my first selection is number 10, Polygon Shopping. I spoke to Gavin one day, because as you know, we did have some horses with him before, where we had some small shares in. And he told me that this horse is she's very well bred. She's related to a few good runners, and he's expecting a good future for Polygon Shopping. He said to me that the 1700 meters is about where she would start. She'll definitely stay on for longer distances. Now, as you can see, last time out, she did run on behind a little bit, and it also shifted in late behind Chimera. And I'm looking for Polygon Shopping today to run a huge race. Warren Kennedy on board, also the jockey who won with her. And my outsider selections is number 4, Chimera. Did beat Polygon Shopping last time out. Now there is a little bit of a weight turnaround, but can certainly future again. So definitely also in with a chance. And then let's have a look at number 12. Sea Venture won her last 2 also from the Gavin van Sale stable. It might even be that he might get the exacta. The horse is carrying 62, but getting the -4, and certainly that will assist him. This horse is going for 3 in a row. Not something that you see often these days from a 5-year-old mare winning 3 races in a row, but that's racing. Yeah, there are a few other horses with chances in this race. Notably number 3, Sylvia Magic, the favorite, also in with a huge chance. Have also been running against horses in the same class and not doing too bad, so definitely in with a shout in this race. Another horse that I want to mention is this number 6. It seems to me that this horse runs one good race, one bad race, and it looks like today might be a good day for a good run. So, including your bigger quartets, trifectas, and pick sixes, although I didn't include it into my pick 6 due to the cost of the pick 6. So let's move on to race number 6. It's a mare at the 70 handicap class D, average minute rate in 65. Let's have a look at the betting race 6. Number 14, Bernie's Dream 9-2, Rocket Fire 7-1, Mexican Cat Dance 15-2, Seen the Light 9-1, Calvino 9-1, 10-1, Alpha Mike Foxtrot, Charlie Fox 10-1, Lazy Slandauer 40-1, and Better the Rest. Surely also one of the more open races on the card. So here in race, my first selection is number 5, Calvino. We're running here in a D Division 65, but as you can see, Calvino has been running against high opposition and not faring too bad. The one is maiden, when you won its maiden, that average mean rating was 71. That shows you that it was a stronger field. Then it ran second behind the Ran, and then 4 inches behind Spider's Corner. And I think Calvino today definitely in line to run a good race. Again, Warren Kennedy on board. Then here we have number 6, Trading Water. Now, Trading Water is down in the betting, at the bottom of the betting boards, but it's getting -2.5. And this horse has run this course of this distance, 4 runs, 1 win. But I just got a feeling that this horse is better than his form shows, Because he's been running against some decent opposition here, Captain Opie. It wasn't a C82. He ran in a B division, 5 lengths behind Wizard of Oz, which is also a very good effort. And then, so I think with the -2.5 today, Trading Water might be a big danger. And if that comes into your big sixes and stuff, definitely would be a huge, would cause a huge dividend. That one is maiden out in Greyville. And that was, any horse that wins wins a race first time out is a good horse. I really believe that. But as I said, it's always there and thereabouts. Here you got he ran behind Great Sharka. Great Sharka ran in the computer form. Yeah, here he went behind Bedazzled Joker, went like the clappers and got beaten on the line by Bedazzled Joker. So number 6 Trading Water do include in all your play. Another outsider selection is number 8 Leslie Shadowliner. Also a horse that has been running some nice races. And now at the -4, bringing him down to 51.5, which is a dangerous weight. And as you can see, this horse has also run against last time out in a 75 in the C division, although on the poly, but this horse has one on turf, so I don't think there should be a problem. Include Leslie Shadowliner in all of your play. Other horses that you might have a chance is Alpha Mike Foxtrot. Also a horse that is running well, can be involved in a finish. Stuart Randolph on board. And here we have number 14, Bernie's Dream. Also a horse that has been running his last 2 races in C divisions now, in the D division, behind Kings Road, stayed on. Now it's got Anton Marcus on board, Dawn 14. Here we had race number 7, a medal rate at 79 handicap, Class C, average medal rate at 78. Let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is Global Ash 4-10, Lord Wiley 6-1, Spirit of My Fate 7-1, Seamaster 13-2, Walton Hall 13-2, King's Crusade 12-1, King Julian 14-1, Admiral's Giant 16-1, and Long the rest. So here my first choice is the number 5 horse, Lord Wiley. Lord Wiley has been running, did win his last race in a C Division 75, running in a similar division today. He did one well, although on the poly, but he has won on the Scottsville, and so I don't foresee a problem. And the 1600 meters, I think the 1400 will probably, this was minimum distance, although he won over 1200 meters, drawn well, and I'm looking for a huge effort today from Lord Wiley. Outsider selections in this race, number 2, King Crusade, Warren Kennedy for the Boss, Dennis Bosch, which he doesn't often ride for, so maybe a type of a jockey strike. Also ran in same divisions, and has been running there and thereabouts after breaking the maiden, and it looks like it can be a horse that can be involved in the finish. And my other outsider selection is number 12, Seamaster. Seamaster beat Legitimate. Legitimate ran in a future, came second behind in Cape Town the other day, that good horse, Comedy Dung. So that really enhances horse's form. So I think 12 Seamaster in a reasonable chance. Also looking the first, has won over the 69 meters. And definitely a horse that you need to include in all your play. Other horse that you can look at is number 8, Global Ash, which is the favorite. Also run well and won well, beating Theravada by 5 lengths. Theravada has since nearly won race during the week. Lyle Hewitson for his dad. So maybe you can play the double with that horse earlier on the card onto Global Ash. And then also, I just want to also mention number 10, Gavel Strike. Gavel Strike came to Gauteng to run again Mike's Pride. And that is a very strong field. Before that, also 11 runners, 2 wins behind Silver Sea. Last time out, did finish well, 23.8. So Gavel Strike, definitely a horse that you need to include in all your play. Certainly in with a chance in this race. Then we move to the last race, which is a maiden plate over 1600 meters. And most probably, this is going to be the horse that's going to be the banker for the day for most punters. It's number 1, Shape of You, Even Money, Peanut Butter 6-1, Emerald Isla 8-1, Fly My Free 8-1, Mighty 20 12-1, 14-1, Races Stacy 16-1, and Better the Rest. Yeah, Shape of You really looks like a good bet. Has been running well, has been improving, and I do feel that the 1600 today at Scottsville not be a problem. Has run second before, third before over this distance, and I think number 1, Shape for You, would be hard to beat in this race. Outside the selections, number 2, Emerald Isla, also a horse that's improving slowly, getting the -2.5, can definitely be the biggest danger to number 1. As number 3, Racy Stacey, currently at 4-1, but did run 2 promising races, when it's second and fourth, and then fourth behind Kind Lady, and his crop shifted out 200 meters, drawn free, can definitely improve a horse to include in all your play, quartets and trifectas. And then the rest of the field, there's not much that maybe another horse we can look at is number 6, Peanut Butter. This horse comes from Cape Town, is now of the Lausanne Forbes stable, hasn't run for 194 days, but can most probably certainly improve, because as you can see, it says here 4.5 lengths behind Captain Ransom. And we know what Captain Ransom did, so maybe it would be good advice to put this horse into whatever play you have. Then also a horse that you might want to include is number 7, Hiroshima. Hiroshima looks like a horse that is also improving a little bit, so maybe for the back end of your quartets and trifecta selections. So that brings us to the end of our preview, and I really hope that I could point you in the right direction. And as I always say, break a leg.